That's it.
No pre-roll.
No pre-roll. Man. Yeah, well, so here we are. Hey, can we pan over to Dan over there? You know, I told you all we're going live. Pan over to Dan. Can we get a shot at? Oh, yeah. Dan's not here today. Actually told me to take over, and so here we are. You know, I did a live on my Instagram a little bit earlier, and the biggest question that we had brought up on that live was, who do we think would win between Dan and Abraham Lincoln in a fist fight? And like everybody on my live feed was saying that they thought that Abraham Lincoln would because of his reach and his height. And
Grappling skills too.
Why would he have grappling skills?
He's whoa, state wrestler.
Oh, where'd that come from?
He was a what?
He's in the Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he was.
Because he's the fucking president, asshole. It's not because he was a great wrestler.
Really?
What do you got? You got fucking video on him? Shut the fuck up. Bunch of fucking retards.
Nice to see you, Dan.
Yeah, I'm done with all this stuff today.
Dan, how's life going today?
It's actually going really well.
Yeah?
Yeah. There's a lot of incompetent people around. None of these guys. I mean, they are incompetent, but that's not who I'm talking about.
Hold on. Why did you only point at them?
Because you're here, right? I mean, I have to delineate between people.
Man. Do you think you could? Do you think you would win against Abraham Lincoln?
Yeah, I would beat the shit out of him, dude.
Really?
But here's the deal.
You think you would?
Yes.
Abe, he was working back in the day.
Okay, yeah. Working on what?
But I mean, out there lifting logs and shit. They didn't.
No, he
have
wasn't. He was a fucking attorney, dude. What are you talking about?
Before that, growing up,
he was an attorney and a failed politician until he was the president.
Kind of like Joe Biden.
Well, he was technically a successful politician, I guess. Depends on how you measure success, right? But here's the deal. Speaking of Joe Biden, Abraham Lincoln wouldn't even try to fight me. He would be trying to bang me because he was super gay.
Abraham Lincoln?
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Have you ever heard of log cabin Republicans? Do you know what that is? Like the gay Republican group?
Really?
They're based on this idea that Abe Lincoln was gay with his fucking secretary or whatever the fuck.
You really think so?
Yeah, why not? I mean, his wife was crazy. Mary Todd Lincoln was wild as shit.
I don't think that his wife being crazy had anything to do with him being.
But he
gay.
stayed married to her instead of putting her in a mental institution as to throw.
Isn't that like?
It's cover. It's a
beard.
Isn't
that like 70% of men?
It's a beard. No, I wouldn't. Yeah, but he's. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with the fact that he chugged dong his whole life, right? I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I'm just saying if he and I got into a fight. He may try to take my back, but very gently, is what I'm saying.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Well,
oh man,
remember that time we had Dave Rubin on, and I kept talking about how Martin Luther King Jr. is to cream pie 16-year-olds. It's the only time I've ever made another man blush in my entire life, and it was a gay man from California. It was really one of my favorite things ever. I love Dave Rubin, by the way.
Anyways,
he moved to Florida. Florida man, Dave Rubin.
I don't even know where to go with this right now. I did have a fucking question for you, but then you messed it up.
Well, I guess it wasn't a great question.
Well, I'll remember it later. I have missed you.
You're going to give me some NADs.
Yeah, man. I've been doing a bunch of studying on it, a bunch of research on it. And, man, the effects of NAD and the benefits of it are just astronomical. So it's really cool.
Yeah, we need to talk about that. Jared and I are talking to some people that do stem cell treatments as well, and then we're going to incorporate DMT for the brain
with it.
Yeah, we're working on a treatment plan right now with some folks that we know that are actual.
I mean, I don't know if there's
medical professionals, right?
I don't know how you can go wrong with DMT either way.
You say that like semi-jokingly, but you're right. Like what?
I'm just saying. Like
all it does is like electrify your brain a little bit, which is what your brain is. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like pouring degreaser through a fucking into your engine or some shit, or on your engine to clean it off. That's reductive, but
you know. Oh yeah. So the other thing, I wanted to ask you on camera, just so
I'd slap that fucking beard off Abraham Lincoln's face. I would grab him by his beard and slap the hat off his head and then fucking punch a hole right through his face.
Bro, I honestly
Fuck
think,
that guy. I mean, I like Lincoln, but fuck him, right?
No shit. I honestly think that that Lincoln would choke you the fuck out and he would kiss you on your cheek.
He probably would do that, yeah.
As you went to sleep, I think he would kiss you on your cheek.
Just to establish dominance?
Yeah, but I mean, look.
He's got those long, bony fingers.
Yeah. I mean, we know his reflexes weren't that good.
Well, I mean, I don't know if that's a good measure. Getting shot in the back of the head isn't something you can really react to, is it?
Well, no, it's not. But again, what I was saying is he just wasn't good of his, surroundings.
Well, it turns out his two security guards were watching the play instead of guarding him. That's the story.
Hey, so I wanted to ask you this. I would like to do a show once a month, kind of like Dr. Phil did, but I want to do it on medical advice. Like people can call in. I mean, since I am the only doctor at the table here, that just so you know, that I would, people could call in. I wear my doctor's coat, and I give them. You
mean a lab coat? You don't even know what it's called, asshole.
I can call it whatever I want.
Why don't you wear a fucking either wear a robe or a or a cape? Just wear a cape.
First off, how about you address me as doctor again?
No.
Who here has a doctorate?
Neither of us.
I have a fucking doctorate.
An honorary doctorate is not a doctorate. That's nonsense.
How do you figure?
Because you didn't earn it.
Dan, I'm sorry, I have to agree with Dakota on this one.
I don't give a shit what you think.
During the last episode of APP, he did call the dean of the school, and he did say that he was an official doctor, but I'm pretty sure it was from a community college.
Right. Yeah. So if I call your fucking girlfriend or call your girlfriend and say, hey, you know that gold chain that Giorgio got you, that gold necklace? It's not real. And she'd be like, yeah, it is real. Same situation.
No, it's
right?
not.
The person that gave the gift is going to say it's real for sure, but that does not reflect reality at all. It was a gift. The end.
It was not a gift.
It was a gift.
Hey, at the end of the well, let's just refer back to this.
Diet doctorate. That's what Brian Boros says.
Gift or no gift?
Doctorate light.
Whatever, gift or no gift. Can you show me your doctorate?
No, because I don't have one, and neither do you.
You know what? I'm going to bring the fucking diploma in.
I'll write doctorate on a fucking piece of paper in crayon, and then put I am 12 right under it.
You know what we're going to do,
staple a fucking Polaroid in myself.
Giorgio. I'm going to bring my doctorate in, and I want it fucking hung over here. No, you know what? I want it hung behind Dan, okay? I want my doctorate hung behind Dan,
There's a nice place for it. I'll get it framed in case it's not already. I'm pretty sure it's in crayon because you got it from a community college.
It's not in Listen, hold on. Have you all seen the picture of when I got my doctorate? I'm going to show you.
Your graduation was in a strip mall?
No. Oh, my gosh.
Yep.
I can't stand you guys. You guys are just fucking jealous. You're fucking jealous. Look,
you could get some fucking Auntie Annie's pretzels and then
check this out.
Pick up your fucking doctorate on the way out.
Can you zoom? No, you can't zoom into that, can you?
Nah.
Like, you see it? Let me look at that. You see it? That's me. See it, Dan? Fuck you.
Is that
you look
orange
like an
thing a
asshole.
vending machine?
Huh?
What's that orange thing?
See that right there? That's me getting a doctorate. Show me a picture of you getting a doctorate.
I don't have one because I don't have a doctorate.
So refer to me as fucking doctor.
No, that'll never happen.
Anyways, on to our show, because this is not what we came here to talk about, right?
This is what I came here to talk about.
I'm a doctor.
No. The end.
And honestly, for the show, I want my title changed to Dr. Dakota Meyer.
Just let him identify as a doctor.
This is Bob had a kid and now he's getting weak. Like every day he gets weaker. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, okay. Whatever.
Andrew Ball is going to send a doctorate certificate for me. I don't want that. I can go and actually get a doctorate now whenever I fucking want. And it'll be real.
So back to my
There will be transcripts. Can I see your transcripts from your coursework for your doctorate? Can I read your dissertation?
Yeah.
No, I can't because none of those things exist.
What was your dissertation on, Dakota?
Second opinions.
Yeah, we already established that. You're way behind.
Yeah. But you know what? I'll tell you this. I'll bring you my dissertation.
I bet you will.
I will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking dummy.
Dude,
it's a coloring book. What are you talking about? We should do that.
I'm going to bring it to you.
I should go do all the coursework for a PhD and just like fucking paint like a really shitty picture with crayons and just turn it in for my dissertation.
I think you're just fucking jealous. Again, I don't care what you say. You're just jealous. I'm a fucking doctor, and that's a fact.
You
So
keep saying that.
back to my
No, you can't just spike the football and walk away.
Back to my question.
The game is still happening.
back to my question.
Yeah. About Abe Lincoln?
No, I'm going to do a show once a month where it's a call-in show, and I'll answer people's.
We do need to do a functional health show for sure.
Yeah, and I'll be
like
the
I was
doctor.
talking to the men's health company that I co-own. They want to talk to you about NAD treatments and IV and all that bullshit and bringing that into
yeah?
the company. And one of the things we want to do is a fucking monthly podcast.
I know,
right? We could probably do weekly, but
I think I'm gonna do my own monthly one.
yeah.
Jack, can you set up for me, Giorgio? Like, let's start. Let's pick a date. I'm gonna come in. We're gonna do an hour of. You can call in about anything. I don't care what it is about your dog, anything, dude. I gotta be better than the VA.
The VA doesn't treat.
Well, as
dogs.
long as people don't die standing in line to get advice, then yeah, you're better than the VA
Okay.
because that's pretty much what they do.
I mean, okay. Look at this. Who would you all trust with advice? And obviously, it's not a first opinion. It's only second opinions. Who would you all trust with advice? Me or Fauci?
Well, that's like, who do you trust more, me or the devil? Right? That's not. It's just
devil?
not. Well, probably in that scenario, you're right. Yeah, me or John Wayne Gacy.
Go on. Who would you all trust? And you know what, Dan? This is even better. Giorgio, you're gonna love this. You ready for this idea, this concept? I'm the doctor and Dan's my fucking nurse.
You want to die, don't you?
Is that just like your own little world you're living in over there? Telling jokes and laughing at yourself, and everybody else is a stone
I
face.
think he's trying to confess his dreams to us.
I think that's a little bit fucking. You're late on that one. He's been doing that.
Dan,
What the fuck is wrong with you? I will dress up like a nurse, though. I don't care.
I'm gonna get a lab coat.
You should get a lab coat and just start not for the show, but just start wearing it every day in your normal life.
I am.
And put doctor on it.
Do you think I should wear it on, like, if I go on a date? Oh, I just got out of the clinic.
Probably don't do that, because then you're gonna start having to answer questions.
Do I have to have a stethoscope? Or no?
That might be.
Like a stethoscope? No or no?
The stethoscope plays, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I was thinking of anything else, but yeah, stethoscope's probably the easiest way to do that.
Would you wear like a skirt or would you wear like scrubs for your nurse's outfit?
No, I don't usually wear pants when I'm doing work. You know what I mean? Because I have to have everything accessible. I'm a different kind of doctor.
Oh, all right. Okay, let's get on to the show. These
Yep.
people are tired of hearing us talk about this.
Oh, fuck them. They can go listen to something else if they don't like it.
Wow.
Bunch of bitches. We're talking about wokeness today.
Wokeness.
Or abandoning it, I guess.
Yeah.
It's happened a little bit more recently, although not full blown, but we're seeing a lot of these leftist politicians being forced to respond to the blowback from their retarded policies, basically, right?
Well, I mean, it's the pendulum, right? So, like, everybody likes the idea of, I mean, who likes rules, right? Like, nobody likes fucking rules. So it's like, let's all get rid of the fucking rules. And it's like when these decisions are made, it's kind of like when you fly, like if you're flying a big airplane, like you make a small adjustment at the yoke, it takes a lot of time before you start to feel the true reactions of
Especially in a society this large, yeah.
Yeah,
like it's a big ass boat.
Yeah,
it's a
like
big ass boat.
it's all cool in the beginning. Like, hey, let's eat fucking like we just want to eat junk food all the time. We don't want any fucking rules like kids do, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, they start seeing that there's a reason for rules.
Well,
right?
there's two metaphors that we can use for that. One is like all of these politicians are like 14-year-old kids, and we've gone away for the weekend and left them at home alone for the first time because we think they're responsible, and they burn the goddamn house down, right? That's one. The second one is, remember Big Daddy, where the little kid, Adam Sandler just let him do what he wants, name himself, eat what he wants, never take a bath?
Yeah.
That's American politicians. They're a bunch of dirty retards, malnourished, and they name themselves Frankenstein. Right? That's what we're dealing with right now. These people, we always say it, politicians are not leaders. They're employees, and they should be treated with contempt and distrust, right? If we have to make our allies overseas verify before we trust them, goddamn, why not the people that are holding the keys to the fucking house?
100%. Yeah, I mean, I think it's like, but we knew this was coming, right? Like we knew that a lot of these, eventually when this starts affecting them is when you start seeing people like, oh no, this is not a good idea. We're going to start pushing back on this shit, and that's good. That the problem is it hurts the lower class. The lower you are in the class of status of America, the more it hurts you first, and then a lot of these politicians aren't in that, right? And that's the issue with feeling the effects
it's
of it.
It's like we're all in the basement and the fucking place is flooding, and they're all in the attic, and they're like, I don't see what the problem is.
I mean, I just turned all the water on, I mean, we thought it'd be great. So exactly. And so, I mean, obviously the pendulum is starting to swing back. That's what we're seeing. So abandoning wokeness, NYPD commission.
Well, before we get to these, so I just wanted to mention this off the top. Everybody kind of already knows about all the major cities, Austin included, Minneapolis, Los Angeles, fucking New York, Chicago.
Homeless.
All of them, well, that too, but all of them have had these defund the police movements and then had to refund at a greater rate than they ever defunded, right? I just wanted to point that out before we get into this shit.
Yeah, I mean, and you also look at remember when they passed in Austin that homeless bill, right? Like where everybody, like people could camp out on the streets, and then real fucking fast, they changed that back.
Yeah, as soon as it gets in their way.
As soon as it gets in the back of their house, they don't like it anymore.
Yeah.
So NYPD commissioner versus district attorney. Manhattan's new district attorney, Alvin Bragg, recently released a memo outlining a new approach for prosecuting criminals. So the memo opens up with him describing his experience growing up in Harlem during the 1980s and the many crimes he witnessed. He said, before I was 21 years old, I had a gun pointed at me 6 times, 3 by police officers and 3 by people who were not police officers. Yeah, I mean...
Cool story.
Yeah, cool fucking story. There's no context to either. I had a knife to my neck, a semi-automatic gun to my head, and a homicide victim on my doorstep. Considering the amount of crimes he has witnessed or experienced, one would assume that you'd think he would take a hard step against those who break the fucking law.
Yeah, it's not like, I don't know why this is the case, but all of these folks seem to, when it comes to crime and prosecuting crime that victimizes other people, they seem to think you have to choose the criminal or bad police. It's between those two. And because there might be some bad police or because you might not agree with enforcement mechanisms, then you just have to let the guy go who strong arm robbed somebody. That is a fucking false choice.
Well, I mean, what's fucked up here is that when he mentions the police, well, what was he doing? He doesn't state what he was doing, right? He doesn't state all these other things. And what does it mean that the cops are pointing a gun at him, right? I mean, that's such a fucking he's just a piece of shit. Like, it's such a piece of shit statement to make. Well, I had a gun pointed at me 3 times by police. I mean, what a fucking
But
idiot.
instead of taking a normal, reasonable stance that you would expect somebody who's been the victim of crimes to take, this guy Bragg described several key principles in his memo, which take a more lenient approach, as well as reducing the number of crimes for which criminals could receive prison or jail time. Now, we've seen this already in Los Angeles. It's the bail reform and the prosecution reform that they talk about. Now, in San Francisco as well, right? So they've been doing this shit forever, for the last year and a half now. It was part of the reimagine. So they went from defund the police to reimagine policing or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And the reimagine policing part was don't arrest people for petty crime. And if they get arrested for small violent crimes, no murders, but fucking armed robbery and shit like that, just let them go. That was their thing. Now, LA is a fucking hellscape. San Francisco is a hellscape.
Yeah.
London Breed, the very liberal mayor who fucking started out there, doing all this bullshit has had to come out and say, hey, this is fucked. We can't do this anymore. The same thing with Lori Lightfoot. She told the federal government to go fuck itself during the BLM riots, right? But now that she's had a record year of murders, she's asking federal agents to come in and help. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
But that's the thing. So this is all already played out.
Yeah.
And two of the biggest cities in the entire country, Chicago and Los Angeles, and now the incoming district attorney, the one that just got elected as district attorney in New York, wants to implement the same principles we just watched fail over the last 2 years.
And so the first things he brings into, he's doing is regarding charging criminals. He said the office will not prosecute the following charges unless as part of an accusatory instrument containing at least one felony count: marijuana misdemeanors, trespass. And this one right here is so dumb. Like resisting arrest.
Yeah.
Resisting arrest. So what you're saying is you're now when a cop. So we talk about these shootings. We talk about how cops have to escalate force.
Yeah, it's the use of force continuum. Right?
I'll tell you what I haven't seen. I haven't seen, and I'm sure maybe there's some out there. I have not seen, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but to date, I have not seen a video where a cop has killed anybody, white, black, green, purple, that was not resisting arrest.
Correct. Actually, I think there may have been one in South Carolina.
Yeah.
The dude getting
2015.
drilled in the back.
Yeah, the guy that was trying to run to his Jeep or some shit or something. He was running through a field and the guy just shot him in the back.
Yeah,
but it's
again,
Philando Castillo wasn't really resisting either.
No, that's correct. I think that one was murder, to be honest.
Yeah. But again, like
or at least manslaughter.
majority, right? Majority. Majority. So anyways.
The vast majority. Yeah.
The vast majority. The second principle is in regards to...
I mean, there are 275 million interactions between police and citizens every year, give or take. And the fact that we can only think of 2 in the last 10 years should tell you something.
I mean, and if you don't think you're going to catch a charge, like what do you have losing trying to get away?
Well, I think it's the attitude, and this reinforces that attitude that the police are the enemy and we should resist them. Right?
So the second principle is in regard to pretrial detention, aiming to reduce the amount of pretrial incarceration. There is a presumption of pretrial non-incarceration for every case except those with charges of homicide or death of a victim, a Class B violent felony in which a deadly weapon or dangerous instrument.
So you can commit a Class C felony of assault or battery, which is to say you beat the shit out of somebody, but you only use your fists and you don't hit them in the head too much.
Yeah.
Right. And you just get pretrial. You don't get any pretrial incarceration. No bail, no bond. You're just out, and you get a report date. Now, we've seen how effective this is with NTAs, notices to appear at the border, right? New data just got put out this week from the Department of Homeland Security. Apparently, 50%. So we keep asking how many of these people who get these NTAs, notices to appear. So you illegally cross the border. Border Patrol picks you up, and instead of kicking you out of the country, they give you a piece of paper, a notice to appear, and you get sent out into the United States wherever you want to go. 50% of those people actually show up for their court dates.
So
less than, it's 47%.
So let's get this right. According to this, and you answer if I'm right or wrong. According to this, Jeffrey Epstein would have never been in jail.
Correct. Yeah, that's right.
According to this, Giselle Maxwell,
Ghislaine
Ghislaine. Giselle, I like calling her Giselle.
Ghislaine is a good one too.
Ghislaine. She wouldn't be in jail either.
Yeah.
Right?
Correct.
Doesn't the trespassing one sound like it would be really bad for women?
Yeah.
Like, that's just like she called the cops in time when the psycho ex-boyfriend showed up.
Well, here we go, because the third principle states the office will not seek a carceral sentence, that is to say, a sentence that would put somebody in prison for some amount of time, so they would get probation or fines or whatever, other than for homicide or other cases involving the death of a victim, a Class B felony in which a deadly weapon causes serious physical injury, domestic violence, etc. So at least domestic violence makes the list. Sort of, right? Only if it's a Class B felony or above. The final principle limits immigration consequences for misdemeanors committed by illegal immigrants, as well as some felonies. So that is to say, the same thing that California has been doing for the last 15 years. Whenever an illegal immigrant gets arrested and prosecuted and imprisoned for something, the ICE will ask the jurisdiction, the police, or the jail to let them know when the person's getting out so they can take them into custody and deport them. So now they just release them back into New York, which, by the way, 800,000 immigrants are now eligible to vote in New York elections.
So I do think, and I think this is such a huge issue we got to figure out. I think if it's bad enough for someone to go to prison for the rest of their life, we should kill them.
I mean, yeah, maybe.
I mean,
but you give some time for the appeals process, because now what we find is that a lot of people get convicted who aren't actually guilty.
Well, I mean, so that's a whole, but we're talking about a whole different system. Like, we're talking about a whole different problem.
Texas tried to do this like 15 years ago. They tried to pass a law where if 2 people witnessed you murder somebody, then you got executed faster than usual, right? Which I think is appropriate.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that, like, if it's bad enough, and, you know, obviously you'd have to look at all these laws, right? If it's bad enough to put some, like look at these guys in the Ahmaud Arbery.
Yeah, those guys should just be fired out of a cannon into a fucking brick wall.
Like,
why let them live one more day?
So my point is why let them live? Yeah, exactly. Why is this? Why are we paying? Like, why not just kill them?
I don't know. I mean, one, because there's so many cases they fuck up.
I mean, how you fuck that one up?
2, that's a good question. I mean, maybe there should be something.
I mean, if it's undeniable evidence.
Well, you're not going to get any plea deals, right? So it's going to cost the government more money, and they're not going to do that. Like, because nobody's going to plead to a fucking murder and get 25 to life instead of death row if they just automatically get death row.
But I mean, with the video of that, how is there anything to argue?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. Bragg's goal is to, this is the district attorney of New York City, is to find alternatives to incarceration, especially for first-time offenders, while still keeping the public safe. That's a nonsensical statement. That's like I'm trying to create cold fusion. Good luck, asshole, because that's not how physics works. The new policies have resulted in a backlash from conservatives and law enforcement, which is weird because the new mayor there is a former law enforcement officer, right? He also, as I said before, as much as we've seen a lot of these politicians have to go anti-woke for a minute, at least, to stabilize their fucking city, he reached right back in almost immediately and gave the ability for 800,000 non-citizens in New York to vote in elections. That is wild as shit to me. Anyway, so in response to the memo from the district attorney, NYPD Commissioner Keishant Sewell sent an email to officers outlining her concerns over, quote, the implications to your safety as police officers, the safety of the public, and justice for the victims. Sewell believes that the new policies will increase violence against police officers as well as damaging the police's relationship with the communities they protect. The commissioner stated that while she believes police reform is necessary, she is looking for a way to strike a better balance between officer safety and reform. Bragg has since responded to her emails, Sewell's emails, releasing a statement on Saturday, which read, in part, Sewell's call for frank and productive discussions to reach common ground on our shared mission to deliver safety and justice for all, ... I look forward to the opportunity to clear up some misunderstandings. There is no misunderstanding. We've seen this exact blueprint in San Francisco and Chicago and Los Angeles, and it has failed. Chicago had a record number of murders this year. And LA and San Francisco are fucking unlivable shitholes now. The disagreement between Bragg, who's the first black Manhattan district attorney, and Sewell, the first black NYPD commissioner, represents the first public rift between the two officials, but will likely not be the last. And also the mayor is in there. Was there a black mayor of New York City before?
Let me check.
No. Right? Like, I'm thinking back to Koch. I don't think there would have been before Koch. So probably not. So he's also the first black mayor of that city.
David Dinkins.
Oh, Dinkins. Yeah, that's right. Fuck, Mayor Dinkins. Forgot about him. Yeah, okay. So second. Not great. It's New York is dead. That's the lesson here. They have.
Here's a Marine.
They have a relatively reasonable Dinkins.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how I forgot about him. I skipped Dinkins and went to Koch. New York's dead.
Yeah.
All the shit you see in like how San Francisco is a completely unlivable nightmare.
It's going to there.
That's what New York will be in about a year, maybe
sure.
2.
No doubt.
And it's already fucked, but it's going to be like way more fucked in about a year, maybe 2. And then you'll see Mayor Eric Adams lionize himself in the public by taking a hard stand on crime. We're going to fucking take it back. Take it back from whom? Yourself? You idiot. You're the one letting this happen.
That's a fact.
The DA is your employee. He may be elected, but you can tell him what to fucking do.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what I'll tell you to do.
Suck your dick?
Yeah, on a ghost bed.
Oh. That's not what I had in mind.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah, so what do they run? Their 40% off bundle deal?
Yeah, so they got the deal still.
40% off bundle deal.
Yeah, it's if you get any one of their mattresses, they have 4 different mattresses and an adjustable base.
Yeah.
Those items plus anything else you add, 40% off.
We talked about doing a double king in our room,
Yeah.
me and you. Mm-hmm. And putting that double king in there, and then that way me and you have more space and we don't get so hot. But I mean, look, they have the cooling pillowcases, all that. I mean, and they have the badass mattress protector, right, from all the shit that Dan brings in.
Yeah, they also have, if you're not in the
That
market,
pillow top.
if you're not in the market for an adjustable base, or you have that and you just need a new mattress, still getting 30% off everything when you go to ghostbed.com/Drinking Bros. Use the code Drinking Bros, and then you get 30% off everything. If you don't need either one of those things, they have the mattress topper now, which is made out of the same material as the mattress. It's cooling as well. It's fucking dope. Mm-hmm. You can't really go wrong with any of this stuff.
No, absolutely. And they also offer a 20-year warranty, 101 nights, sleep in it, return it, no questions asked. They have a pay-as-you-go plan. So go check them out at ghostbed.com/Drinking Bros.
Yeah, we got another one today.
Dang, who is it?
It's Simply Safe. You've got one.
Simply Safe.
Actually, we did a video. Didn't you and Joel install one at your house?
Yeah.
How's it working?
It's good.
What do you like about it? I mean, I know it's super easy to install. It's got the 2-sided tape.
Yeah.
You put the passive infrared detectors wherever you want. You can get the window seal things as well.
Yeah, I mean,
and it's super easy, and it just hooks into your fucking internet, right?
Super easy to install, super easy to hook up, user friendly, really badass.
Well, here's the deal with that. Simply Safe is one of our favorites. I've got it at my house too. There's no better time than now to protect your home, to be honest. I mean, we're seeing, especially living in a big city, break-ins are at an all-time high for some reason. It could be maybe because district attorneys aren't prosecuting criminals anymore, but who knows, right? Right now, our friends at Simply Safe are giving American Party listeners access to their New Year's holiday deals, 20% off their award-winning home security, and your first month of service is also free when you sign up for the interactive monitoring service. So they've added this over the last year. It used to be just hardware. Now it's hardware plus monitoring services, which is great. We love Simply Safe because it has everything you need to make your home safe. Well, not everything. Indoor and outdoor cameras, comprehensive sensors, and all monitored around the clock by trained professionals who will send help instantly if you need it. Simply Safe was named the best home security system of 2021. That's no surprise, right? I mean, it's by and far and away the best. You can buy an independent system yourself and monitor it on your phone. Some people do that. But why the headache? You know what I mean? Yeah. Why not let somebody look for you? They're like your recon guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're letting you know ahead of time if something's weird, especially if you're traveling, you're out of town, or if you work during the day and you've got kids at home or anything like that. Yeah. I mean, if it's just the best. So you can easily customize the system for your home online in just a few minutes. It's the installation. You made a video of it. It was like 15 minutes to install the whole thing.
Yeah, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
The only weird thing about your Simply Safe that you installed is why did you put so many cameras in the bedroom?
We'll get into that later. Okay. No long-term contracts, by the way, on the service. So you can do whatever you want. If you don't like it, not a big deal. So this deal is only going to be, I think, for the rest of this month. So you better hurry up Take 20% off your Simply Safe system and first month free of the interactive monitoring service. Go to simplysafe.com. It's SIMPLISAFE. Simplysafe.com/American Party. Again, that's simplysafe.com/American Party for 20% off your entire system. So, since police aren't being allowed to do their jobs
Yeah.
in a lot of these places, you better fucking tool up.
Tool up.
Yeah. Yep. That's it. Somebody in the chat actually just asked.
What? Not even over
Nathan
there.
Cummins, he said, he's not trying to be an asshole, but does Dakota still think we shouldn't have body armor trained like, quote, operators?
Where's it at?
I just responded. He didn't say that. He said people who post glamour shots of themselves on Instagram like posers.
Yeah, I mean,
look like posers.
So where that went nuts was, you got all these these YouTube guys. They're all trying to find something that could be a controversial topic, right?
Because they have no
nothing to
baseline say. They're just trying to grab onto somebody that's famous and lift himself up by
for sure.
It's really pathetic.
Like it's really pathetic on how they are. So
and he agreed, by the way. Nathan says I definitely agree with him on the dudes running around with night vision during the day trying to look cool in the range.
Yeah, I mean,
it's so stupid.
I mean, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, I mean,
everybody knows.
Everybody
You've
knows.
all seen that fucking guy that shows up with way too much shit on his kit that has nothing to do with anything. He's just trying. He saw it on TV. He's trying to look cool, dude. If you want to. Real training doesn't happen in front of a camera.
Yeah, I mean, if you look, I think if you want body armor and you feel like that's what you need, and this is America. I mean,
you should own body.
You should
armor,
own body armor or whatever you want, but like understand that if you're like walking around with it and
if you're like taking fucking glamour shots of yourself with a fucking what do you call it? Not a balaclava, the fucking handkerchief thing wrapped around you like you're in Afghanistan and you're at the fucking closed gun range and look at this.
But again, even like where they're where all these guys are so fucked up is if you were in the military and you had, I mean, what did we call all these motherfuckers that had all this
gear
shit on
queers? Yeah, if you showed up dressed like that, we would light your ass up.
We would if you showed up like how these guys show up on the range here. If they showed up dressed like that in even if they're in the military, like we would still make fun of them. So
yeah, we've been making fun of Rudy Reyes for like 20 years now for it. He's our friend. We still make fun of him for it. Fuck out of here, man.
I mean, yeah. So it's like, again,
people take shit so personally.
Yeah, but again, like, hey, they got some cool views off of me, so
right?
They're welcome.
Yeah,
they're welcome.
What are you gonna do? Anyways, back to this shit. So San Francisco, we talked about before.
Yeah,
they're the ones right now, in my opinion. I think there are two major examples of these liberal politicians, leftist politicians, who are having to turn around and fucking change course. The first one is London Breed in San Francisco, the mayor there. Mm-hmm. The second one is Lori Lightfoot in Chicago, who we mentioned before, and we'll get to that one in a minute.
Beetlejuice.
Yeah, she looks rough.
She looks terrible.
I mean, who's Beetlejuice, her or MGK? Because he like fucking dressed in a Beetlejuice costume to propose to Megan Fox or whatever.
Man, you know what? Like, that and like who's that? Pete Davidson.
Oh yeah,
those two. Like, how do they land?
Fame.
You think?
Yeah, fame is a very powerful tool. Anyways,
yeah.
In December of 2021, just last month, San Francisco Mayor London Breed announced an aggressive crackdown on crime in the city of San Francisco, specifically citing the Tenderloin neighborhood as an area plagued by an open-air drug market, crime, unsanitary conditions on the streets, etc. Over the last few years, crime has skyrocketed in San Francisco.
Surprise.
Although when I lived in Oakland and worked in San Francisco, the Tenderloin was already fucked up. I mean, when you drove through there, people would just be shooting up in the street like it's not a big deal.
I'm sure it's their insulin, Dan.
Yeah, no, the insulin doesn't go into a vein in your arm. It goes into your fucking, and it's subcutaneous. I thought you were a doctor.
Dan, they might not have had the proper instructions. See, that's why they need me.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's what you need to do. Just move to the Tenderloin. Same thing in Salt Lake City, by the way. Downtown Salt Lake City was like that too. Anyways, what they've also seen, and what you guys have all seen in the media the last couple of months, is an increase in flash mob style smash and grab robberies of luxury stores. Now, they didn't care when it was mom and pop shops, but once you got into my Louis Vuitton bags, hell no, this has got to stop. And once I guess the real kicker down in L.A. was that older man getting killed. Right, the black dude. I can't remember his fucking name now, but he was recording artist or something that's super famous. But he and his wife live in a home there. Both, I think, in their 70s or 80s. And somebody broke into their house, stole some shit, and killed them, right? That's when people were like, well, fuck, right? So I guess you got to kill a rich person or steal rich people's shit before it matters. Anyways, the San Francisco Police Department carried out a series of arrests and seizures in December, during which time they seized 950 grams of drugs. That's weird.
How long would that last you?
A couple of days. 600 grams of which were fentanyl, which is enough to kill everybody in America, basically.
That wouldn't last you very long.
Yeah, right. Well, it definitely wouldn't last you long because you would be dead. As well as like $3,400 and a bunch of weapons, and they arrested 17 drug dealers. So Breed has since declared a state of emergency in the Tenderloin. I didn't know you could do that for like just a neighborhood inside of your city.
This is what's fucked up. So when they declare a state of emergency, the funding changes. So again, our taxpayer dollars are going to have to go in and fix what these guys allowed to be fucked, right? I mean, it's insane that like, and the problem is why is there no accountability on these people who are making these stupid decisions?
I have no idea. I mean,
zero accountability.
This is the same shit we saw from Newsom as mayor of San Francisco, and he became governor. So what do you expect?
Well,
or he became lieutenant governor, then governor.
I mean, it's not.
Anyways, Breed's since declared a state of emergency in the Tenderloin. She says it's time the reign of criminals who are destroying our city comes to an end. And it comes to an end when we take the steps to more aggressive law enforcement, more aggressive with the changes in our policies, and less tolerant of all the bullshit that has destroyed our city. That's tough talk from a defund the policer, isn't it?
Yeah. Who's good? Well, like, who are they calling to do it?
It's like setting a fire. You set your house on fire, and then you stand outside and lecture the firemen when they show up to put it out. Like, we're going to put this fire out. I don't care what you say. Like, dude, you started this fucking fire. What are you talking about? Jesus Christ. Her decision to launch the campaign against crime in the Tenderloin is a stark contrast to her pledge to shift $120 million from the city's law enforcement budget to social spending. San Francisco's far-left district attorney, Chesa Boudin, who's one of the worst human beings in America. He is a total piece of shit.
Chesa Boudin? Oh, there he is.
He has heavily criticized the crackdown, calling it misguided and ineffective. He's the guy that's letting rapists and murderers just out. Right?
Oh, this guy looks like that.
Yeah.
I bet he has a small dog.
Well, I've got small dogs, so I'm definitely a murderer. But he's a total piece of shit. He looks like a fucking pedophile to me.
He does.
To be honest, he's got a weird fucking head. I don't know if that's phrenology or not. Rob is the only person here that knows what phrenology is, probably. During a news conference last month, and remember, this is at the height of all this crime bullshit, Boudin stated, we all share the concern and the pain about the situation in the Tenderloin, but we cannot simply arrest and prosecute our way out of problems that are afflicting the Tenderloin in so many parts of our city. You do arrest and prosecute your way out of crime. That's how that works.
Yeah, that's why it's called crime.
God damn it, dude. What the fuck is wrong with this guy?
Would you vote for him?
Yeah. The only reason that he's in office is the same reason that fucking that dummy in New York City, the DA, is in office, and it's because our very famous foreign friend, who everybody thought was a conspiracy, funding all these campaigns, turns out he did. 270 some district attorney and judge campaigns across the country. Boudin cited more affordable housing, universal mental health care, and an opening of a new supervised drug use facilities as solutions that would help increase police activity. So he wants to buy some real estate in the Tenderloin, I don't know, like a big warehouse or something, and just make it a crack house. That's what he's fucking saying. He wants supervised drug use facilities. Are you fucking kidding me? Dude, Jesus Christ. That is the dumbest shit I've ever heard of in my life. God damn it.
But real talk, okay?
George Soros is the reason this guy's there.
Real talk, though. Hear me out.
He's the reason the guy's in New York.
We fucking listen to me?
Yeah.
Real talk. If
supervised trap houses.
if that became a business,
oh, I would run it.
Dude,
really well.
we would franchise.
Oh yeah.
What would we call it? D&D?
No, it's too close. I think D&D's trademarked probably for Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know. I think fucking supervised crack houses are
We
pretty.
could actually call it Dan Myers, because, I mean, you're going to change your name.
No. Jeff Cretin, which is probably a good name for somebody in politics. The spokesperson for Mayor Breed said the administration has made historic investments in many of the solutions proposed by Budin, including housing and treatment. Part of the mayor's emergency response plan also includes opening temporary sites in the Tenderloin to connect people with needed services. Mayor Breed did not support Budin's 2019 election. And the DA is facing a recall election in June due to people accusing him of being too soft on criminals. That one will probably work, actually. It seemed people were so pissed off there. It wasn't like the statewide recall thing against Newsom. I think this one is probably going to work. Cretin went on to say, the reality is that our outreach teams are out there every day, and while many people accept services and get themselves indoors and get the help they need, others don't. People will not be allowed to reject these services and continue to break the law. Now, I don't know what reject these services mean. Like, you can't just force people into stuff unless they're committing crimes, so that's dangerous language. Anyways, crime and safety experts have applauded Mayor Breed's campaign to increase police presence in the city, but also pointed out the situation would not have spiraled out of control had the city not reduced police funds and power in the first place. Frank Ma, a former law enforcement official, stated in an interview last month that, quote, it is good that Mayor Breed is doing something big now, but she's fixing a problem that she and the city helped create. They made police an enemy to many and got rid of a bunch, and now they're surprised there are major problems. That is a good point.
Great point.
I mean, what the fuck did they expect?
But isn't this what they do? Like,
yeah, everything woke turns to shit.
Well, isn't it what they do? Like, and there's no way being like, oh, we were wrong, so we're gonna adjust course. It's yeah, we sank the boat, but we saved 8 people.
Yeah.
So let's focus.
It's what's going on with COVID now. Now that all the bodies belong to Biden, now there's nuance in the conversation. Now it's like, oh, they didn't die from COVID, they died with it. It's fucking totally different, man. Only half the people in the hospital even are there for that. Like, oh, yeah? Well, where was that fucking nuance last year, fuckface? Or the last 2 years?
Yeah.
So the next example of somebody having to reverse course is Lori Lightfoot.
That's I know you're a huge supporter, and it's just hard for us to go after her. But.
Yeah, gorgeous lady. So Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot has changed her position on a number of issues facing her city in recent years. Obviously, we talked about
increasing crimes.
The crime stuff. So in response to increasing crime rates in Chicago in 2020, Donald Trump floated the idea of sending federal agents into the city to crack down on gangs and gun violence. Lightfoot responded to Trump by telling him not to send federal agents and instead helps the city address violent crime by cracking down on the proliferation of illegal guns across the country. So her solution to South Chicago being dominated by guns, right, illegal guns and gun crime, her solution was to pass gun control legislation nationwide that affects legal gun owners.
Yeah.
That's called victim blaming, right? Mm-hmm. And it's not great. So the following year in 2021, Lightfoot proposed cutting $80 million from the police budget while violent crimes continued to rise. Now the Chicago mayor is publicly pleading for federal agents to be sent to bolster the ranks of the city's police force and help quell the surge in shootings and homicides.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
In December?
In December, Chicago saw 4,270 shootings.
That's it?
Which is only a 9% increase over the previous year.
Well, I mean, when you look at it that way, it's not that bad, Dan.
Yeah, and a 5% increase in homicides. But it's been a steady slope upwards for a while in Chicago, where most crime in most cities has gone down significantly since the early 90s. It's not been the case for Chicago. They've been more of a roller coaster. In addition to the request for ATF agents to assist with gun violence, Lightfoot also requested more federal prosecutors to handle the new cases generated by the increase in police presence. Lightfoot's also called on judges to immediately stop releasing defendants with ankle bracelets following their arrest for violent crimes, saying the electronic monitoring system is, quote, fundamentally broken. It's catch and release on people that murder. They'll probably come back, right?
Yeah, well, for sure.
Fuck
I mean, they
outta
usually
here.
turn themselves in, don't they?
No, what they do is murder more.
Yeah,
actually.
no shit.
There's been a couple of them there in Chicago that have killed other people while they were fucking on home confinement for killing somebody. What the fuck, man? Lightfoot's also notably over the last couple of weeks butting heads with the Chicago Teachers Union, who wants to return to remote learning due to increasing cases of COVID. Now, there is literally no danger here. Not one person. Not only has no one died from Omicron globally, no one in the United States has even been put on a respirator because of it. Not one person in the United States with Omicron has been put on the vent. Not one.
But it's
not
like
one.
Yeah.
So these teachers are cowards, and it's time to defund public education.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that on another show with Corey DeAngelis.
Oh, yeah.
He's a very smart guy.
You don't ever say that about me.
Well, not prone to lying.
I'm a doctor.
Boy, I'm just going to kill myself. Anyways, the teachers union recently voted not to teach in person until there were new COVID measures in place or case numbers decreased, which, by the way, they said that they're pushing for remote learning, but what they're doing is an illegal strike, right? They have to vote to strike.
Yeah.
It's a whole different thing. What they're doing is illegal. So Lightfoot has told them, we're not going to pay you. Fuck off.
Actually, it's called a wildcat strike.
It is. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
it's not. But that's not legal, right? That breaks the terms of their collective bargaining agreement. Anyways, Lightfoot, as most mayors in the U.S. have been, are now advocating for in-person learning and oppose school closures. That's after a huge report by the New York Times that adolescent people are blowing their fucking brains out, hanging themselves, and swallowing pills because they're losing their fucking minds being stuck at home, and they're not learning shit either. There are severe developmental issues, particularly with young people, and that's who this affects the most. So instead of switching to remote learning, the school district canceled classes altogether, which prompted lawsuits from some parents. On Wednesday, a proposal was approved to reopen school and suspend the union's work action that saw teachers refuse to give their lessons in person, which prompted the class cancellations. Just to be clear, the Watchdog for Public Education in Chicago did a little study over the course of 2020 and 21. And when Chicago teachers were engaged in remote learning, the average teacher logged in less than 3 times per week. It was like 2.8 times per week they would log in to even check on their students. So these lazy cunts aren't worried about some fucking cold. What they're worried about is being able to sit their fat asses at home, right, and do nothing and get paid for it with your tax dollars. Fuck you, suck my dick. The deal also includes a set of conditions where individual schools would return to remote learning based on rate of staff absences or students in quarantine or isolation. So she capitulated on that.
Yeah.
Like Lori Lightfoot allowed these fucking social terrorists to fucking force close schools if they meet certain requirements where there's no actual danger to anybody.
Gave them a goal to reach to.
Yeah, that's all she did. She gave them a fucking goal to reach. She gave them a fucking date that we're gonna pull out of Afghanistan. That's what she did. And these people don't give a shit about kids at all. They shouldn't be allowed to be teachers. If you voted to not go into in-person classes with all of the information available showing how damaging it is to children, knowing that COVID poses literally no threat to children, right? And marginal, if any, threat to you, let's be real, especially at this point, then you don't care about kids.
Yeah.
You're a piece of shit, and you don't deserve to be a fucking teacher. All of these people should be fired. They should pull a Reagan with the fucking FAA and just fire all of them, every single one of them. At a late news conference, Lightfoot praised her team and hailed in-person learning, having rejected the teachers union calls for wholesale return to remote learning. She said, "We can never forget the impact on the lives of our children and their families. They must always be front and center. Every decision has to be made with them at the forefront." Well, it wasn't. You still fucked it up, you stupid bitch. And you're a pathetic excuse for a human being. That's how I feel.
100%. I mean, it's just dumb. Like, right? Like, again, it's like you give an inch, take a mile, right? And it's like yeah, it's so fucking stupid.
Yeah, I mean, so there's another element to this that I'm just going to briefly mention it here so you guys can go look it up. and be ready for the show whenever we do it. There's a guy named Corey DeAngelis, Corey space Deangles. So he's part of this school choice movement. And what it says is it costs $23,000 a year in New Jersey to educate one child in a public school. So if the parent should be able to look at that and say, I want that money, and I'm going to spend it however I want on their education.
Yeah.
And that will result in something very specific. People think it's defunding education entirely. No, what it's doing is creating a marketplace for education.
Here's the issue, right? The issue, and I looked at, I looked at this a long time ago, was like charter schools, right? So there's no competition. The reason that all these teachers can fucking do this is because like there's no competition. Like they have no reason to give a better product, right? Like the education of our children is relying on a government institution,
Right. So
And
basically,
so, like,
it's tied to like test scores and stupid shit like that, right?
Well, it's tied to test scores on one aspect of it, but it's basically it's attendance based. So all these schools are attendance based funding. So that's why whenever you don't come to school, they send the police after you, or you get in trouble, or it's all these. It has nothing to do with that we want you to be smarter. It is the fact that they don't get paid if your ass isn't in the chair.
Right, yeah. So the work product for public teachers has been attendance or test scores at the end of the year. Yeah. So what do? They paid truancy officers to bring people in, and they only had to be in once a month, by the way, to pass that test. And then two, they only taught kids to pass the test, but they didn't teach them anything else, which means the effective result was 1.5 grade levels diminished in reading capability for public school educated children. Right? We fucked them over.
What we
for their
should
whole
do,
lives.
what we should do is the Board of Education should come in.
The Board of Education should not exist.
But either way, the standard should be they should get funded based off of like kids having a test to be a sophomore. Junior,
I don't think tying it to testing is a good idea. I think the parents should be given the money.
Performance-based funding.
And if they want to fucking, performance-based funding doesn't work. That was what No Child Left Behind was. And all they did was teach the test. Give the parent the money. And now the work product, right, from the parent's perspective is how prepared is my child for life after having this class?
For sure.
Are they being taught stupid bullshit, right? And then that will force public education and public teachers to start writing better curriculum, to start teaching kids how to think and not what to think. Right? And preparing them for the road, not trying to prepare the road for them.
Yeah, exactly.
It would fundamentally change education.
How much time did you waste in fucking high school?
All of it. Every single second I was in high school was a waste of time.
Exactly.
Except for when I was smoking weed behind the fucking whatever. Or playing baseball. That was fun.
You smoked weed? You did?
This show's over. We'll see you in hell.
See you in hell.